With this video, we'll start a series of mini videos all about sexual energy. It's called Everything You Wanted to Know About Sexual Energy but Were Afraid to Ask. The first obvious question for this series is, what is sexual energy? Sexual energy is one of the multiple subdivisions of the broad concept of energy, but it's one that is deeply important for those who want to improve their overall sexual attractiveness in dating life. This is the energy of sex and the one that drives the urge of sexual impulses and raw physical attractiveness. Everything that is related to the senses and sensual qualities also has its roots in sexual energy. The same with all kinds of sensual pleasure. That's why many women equal eating a certain type of dessert or chocolate with sexual activity. It's in fact linked, since the pleasure you get from it is from a sensual nature. You may feel differently, obviously, but the energy is the same. On many cases, it's also the energy of creativity and one of the most important types of energy for worldly achievement. As you can now understand, this energy doesn't manifest only during sexual activity. Far from it. While in sexual activity is the easiest way that you can feel its presence, it's there during your whole day, and especially in every interaction that you have. It also doesn't manifest itself only when you are sexually aroused. Sexual energy can arise during your day due to many reasons. On 90% of the cases, we don't even realize it's there. So it doesn't only pop up when we have sex. It can be any time during your day, since sex is present everywhere and every day. Since seeing that huge sexual billboard on your way to work, or your cute co-worker that don't even know that you exist, or, as mentioned above, eating a particularly delicious dessert. And that, what we experience in these kind of situations, is the sexual energy in action. We develop certain feelings regarding it. And these are the feelings that we can repress, control, let go of, release, manipulate, transcend, or transmute. We have distinct feelings in our bodies when our sexual energy is present. If there's a natural expression of this energy inside of your body, there are pleasant feelings which our mind accepts. If our awareness is good enough, we can feel them and manipulate them. They are more prevalent and obvious with a natural expression of your sexuality in the bedroom. This is the place where we allow these feelings and this energy to take over. The problem is when our mind and body blocks and rejects these pleasant feelings, both in a bedroom, which generates sexual dysfunctions, and in your own day-to-day life, which leads to repression, anxiety, restraining yourself, psychosomatic diseases, mental and emotional issues. On 90% of the cases, it's not a conscious choice to repress or restrain your sexual energy. That's just the way that your body and mind were taught to react to it. So you just do it with no conscious awareness. You only deal with its consequences. These sexual impulses control so much of what we do, how we act, and the choices we make, that if they are not properly harnessed, it can lead to great destruction. But when it's properly harnessed and trained, then great things can happen. By cultivating and learning how to handle this sexual energy, you can, for example, express your sexuality in a much better and healthier way. You can avoid all kinds of frustrations and pathologies that come from the lack of control of your sexual energy. Most men have a complete lack of awareness regarding their sexual impulses, and because of this, they feel nervous when they are with women. They suffer from all kinds of sexual dysfunctions like premature ejaculation and impotence, as well as not being able to deal with the normal everyday frustrations that can be quite apparent since we live in a very hypersexualized society where everywhere we turn we see sex, on ads, on computers, on the internet, on TV, on billboards, and so on. For this reason, it's crucial that we learn how to handle this energy. Sexual energy tends to be a loose cannon in our society. It's present everywhere, all over the place. Regardless of where we turn, we encounter it. There's a mix between nervous taboo and an overflowing sexuality where sex is pretty much implied everywhere. Yet, no one actually teaches us how to handle it. And because of it, we develop all kinds of issues related to it. Be it a simply, so to speak, anxiety towards the opposite sex, since the opposite sex elicits in us an energy that we don't know how to handle, or something more complex as several psychosomatic disorders, where the sexual energy is moved toward more serious symptoms that limit our life in many, many ways, such as panic attacks, sexual disorders, and even debilitating physical illnesses. There's also a tendency to think of sexual energy as a kind of a low energy. It can be a lower energy that has some kind of a spiritual and angelical type of energy or whatever you want to call them. But fail to master this one and all the other ones will be influenced by it. Just like having a raging bull on the loose in a fine porcelain shop. We teach energetic development from the bottom to top and not from the top to bottom. First of all, because we focus on the benefits of energy development for your everyday life. For those who work, go on dates, have bills to pay, we focus on ways magnetism and energy development can increase your quality of life and help you achieve your goals. And as such, the first thing to focus on is on the ground force kind of energies like sexual energy, which is the one that allows you to influence your daily life in a good deal. And secondly, even if you want to advance yourself spiritually, regardless of whatever this means for you, if you start with higher types of energies while still having a loose and uncontrolled sexual energy, all your developments will be negatively influenced by it. Sure, you can start with higher types of energy in an effort to purify those below, but you'll notice for yourself that it's much harder to connect to these types of energies in a solid way if you cannot even connect with these much more grounded and, dare I say, obvious types of energy, such as sexual energy. In summary, sexual energy is a powerful type of energy which shouldn't be neglected. Especially in today's hypersexualized Western society, we should understand and know how to deal with it so we aren't influenced by it in a negative way. But instead, we can actually control it and use it for our own benefits and objectives. Sexual energy training is not as simple as to say, well, I'm not going to repress this anymore. I wish it was, but unfortunately, it takes more than this due to our subconscious and body blocks. It's not simply a conscious intention to stop repressing and start using it more wisely. You can actually need to learn how to use it more wisely. Hence, the training courses that we created based on the old magnetic tradition, which teaches us how to work with the energy to actually get what you want and achieve in your own day-to-day life. At this moment, we created 2 courses. Sexual Energy Mastery, where we dive really deep into your own unconscious blocks and release them using a very effective method, as well as teaching you how to use and transmute and deal with the sexual energy. In the sexual course, Sexual Magnetism, once you already recognize and know how to manipulate sexual energy, you can now transmit it to the outside. The Sexual Magnetism is directed to its direct use in your dating life and how to project your sexual energy to women. For more information or the rest of this series, or an Abyssian newsletter and more training courses on sexual energy, personal magnetism, charisma, and the magnetic gaze, visit charismaschool.com.